Welcome to Triggered with Scott and Trey, the podcast that aims straight at the heart of the gun debate and the latest happenings around the globe. Get ready for a shot of knowledge and insight as it applies to you, the well-regulated militia. Now, let's get triggered, Scotty.
Here it is, baby. Well done. Well done. That was a mouthful, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whoever wrote that, yeah.
Well, you said what's that?
They said well beyond their pay grade.
Well, you said to make it so a ninth grader could understand it. Or maybe you said 9-year-old. I can't remember.
It was an eighth grader.
Eighth grader. That's not a
there you
9-year-old. Well, how old are you in the eighth grade? You're like 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. You're 14 in the eighth grade, I think, right?
Well,
Is that
no.
how it works? Yeah, I think you are. All right, sorry about that. Hey, welcome everyone. Let's sort of get. So we've had a bit of a snafu today. The program we were using Trey as a producer. Turns out producers can't hit record, so we've had.
And Trey does not know computers at all.
Boy, that couldn't have been.
I'm not that guy.
Yeah, that couldn't have been a worse decision. So, yeah, so we're going to power through. Boy, it's been a minute. We were trying to do this every week. I had to go out of town, so we backed off a minute, and then Trey ran into a pool party, and that got in the way, and I took on another job. Ugh. So lots to talk about.
What are you doing right now, Scotty, other than just counting money?
Yeah, paying bills, paying employees. You know, I remember one time I read something that Warren Buffett had said about when your name goes on the other side of the check, things really change, and I thought he meant for the better. No. When you start signing the front side of the check, it just makes things more difficult on every end.
Yeah, owning a small business, especially just like a mom and pop or a startup within the first 5 or 10 years, like a lot of our politicians, and they say it all the time, they've never written a check for employees, and that's a whole different set of values. It's a whole different set of responsibility. Like, well, I guess I'm going to wear these shoes one more week, even though with the holes in them, because I got to pay my employees first.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, dude. I'm because there's some folks that know me that are going to see this. I'm going to tell you, there's been some times in my life where I have, as an employee, maybe not been, always doing what I should. There was some feet up on the desk occasionally, some things of that nature. And boy, when you're on the other side of the check, see somebody with their feet up on the desk, you lose your mind. So it's amazing how that works, right? You're like, God damn it, Caden. Use that as an example. Caden, you're a great kid. No chance you'll see this, right?
No.
Okay.
No one's going to see it.
I love that kid like he's one of my own. And he could be. I got a tribe, so who knows? Yeah, so listen, I did a little bit of traveling. I know you took your daughter to the airport today. How'd that go?
Oh, that was wonderful. Airport at 5 in the morning it's a wonderful time. It really is. And when you have a young traveler who is going to be 17, is not used to traveling, by herself on a plane for 5 hours, a little bit of angst coming out in the morning. And it's, at the end of the day, it's a good thing for her to learn how to do. I've said this once, and I will continue to say it. I don't think that we are teaching our kids coping skills anymore. And, how many times, you ever seen that scene of John Wayne where the kid's sitting at the side of the river or the lake, and the kid goes, I can't swim. And he takes him by the back of the neck and the pants and just hucks him in the water.
Sure you can.
Yeah. So I don't think we're teaching our kids to cope like we should, We're in a high stress level jobs sometimes. And if our coping skills aren't what they should be, we're going to lose our lunch.
Yeah, it's funny. And the more I deal with people, and I'm working with a really nice guy right now, I got a great guy. Man, I got lucky. I picked up a new gig. We'll talk more about that later. But, man, I got blessed. The concern for me going into this was it's going to be a monster situation. This is going to be a guy that I want to deal with. I know what the history has been with this place. And, man, I got lucky. And I got this guy that just – I couldn't be more like-minded. I took some sage out and saged the place, and he's like, I was going to ask if we should do this, right? So I'm like, oh, dude, I love you. So him and I are firing on all eight, and just a dude I trust to death. And yeah, definitely he has those little bit of coping skills, understands the customer service aspect, and that's another bygone trait too, man. People don't get it, and it's tough, man. I don't know. I don't want to be that guy as you get older, and I hope it's not in your 50s. But I feel like as you get older, you get this kind of. So I dealt with a guy today, and he comes out today on the range, and he goes, "What are you doing here?" And I go, "What?" He goes, "What do you do here?" It's a gun range. We shoot guns. Yeah. Well, is there any money in this? I don't. But what do you? I'm going to charge you this amount of money to shoot in the. I don't know. That doesn't seem very feasible. Would you like to shoot? Here's what we're going to do today. I'm going to get you to, and it's just, and I don't want to be that guy, but I think at some point you just give up, and that's a great character in cinema. So when I watch when I watched Clint Eastwood in Torino, right? That I don't give a shit about anybody. I don't care about anything. This is how it's going to be. Great character in cinema. When you're talking to that guy face to face, it's terrible. It's just terrible. It's just not who you want to deal with.
And yet you still want to do this podcast with me.
Yeah, right here and yet here we are. Yeah,
yeah.
This is a friendship made in hell. Yeah, so we did a little traveling last week. I had to go back. I went back for my son's girls. She had a Make-A-Wish 10 years ago, I guess, if I'm doing the math right. She's dealing with some stuff, and she had kind of a hey, you're 10 years, congratulations. And she is salt of the earth. This girl is something else, man. And she went back for kind of an alumni type deal. Went back to Florida with them. Florida in July. What? Come on, man. Jesus.
Yeah, but I mean, you got to like the wildlife, right? You go out in your front porch off your hotel, and there's an alligator waiting for you.
Dude,
it's like a land shark, right?
I hate you. I went out back first morning we're there. I go out back, and I've got a Red Bull, and I'm sitting out back, and I'm drinking a Red Bull, and I hear
there was a Red Bull and an alligator.
No, that's different. Entirely different. And so every house has a lanai, and Stephanie Ramirez will tell you what a lanai is because she's very fond of them. Every house has a lanai, and I think a lanai is just a word for tarp that alligators can't get through, is I think what it is. So I went out through this screen room, and I'm standing out there drinking a Red Bull, just kind of doing me, right? Like just getting away from everybody. A lot of people in the house. She brought her family, a couple sisters, her mom, Mama, come, Mama. I don't know how to say that. Mama and Papa. Boy, Mama was a treat. I got to be honest with you. My favorite. She's just a Texas girl. And we talked about give you an example. My folks are from Oklahoma. My whole family's from Oklahoma. I'm the only one out here in Nevada. But we have a box of my mom's old recipes. And there's things like half a cup of oleo. And I'm like, I don't know what oleo is. So we have to call like Michaela's mama and papa who are from Oklahoma, and she goes, "Oh, it's just use margarine, it's fine." So I spent a lot of time talking to her mama, very nice lady. But I'm going to go out back. I'm just going to kind of unwind for a second. A little too early for a cigar, but I thought I probably should. But I heard some lady say, "Just be careful out there." And I thought, is this not a good neighborhood? What am I looking out for? Not even thinking about that. And she goes, two alligators were fighting right where you're standing about 20 minutes ago. And I'm like, yep, I will not be out here again the rest of the trip. I will not come out. I walked to my car like I was in some sort of third world country, like pretending to be shot at by snipers.
The screen room became your scream room.
Yeah, very much so. Very much so. Yeah. Yeah, very much. I'll tell you what, travel was rad. Very nice. I did question TSA at one point. So like leaving Reno, and we went on out. We had a couple stops, no big deal. It did take us. We had a bit of a layover getting out there, but just give me your ID. We don't need anything else. Oh, okay. Give them my ID. We go through. They scan us. We go through. Coming back, we had a mess. Don't fly late. Don't leave late, because when you leave late, if you've missed one connection, there's no chance of getting you home that night. So no, we screwed that up. So we left late, and they were like, "Well, we can get you as far."
With my wife.
Yeah. Oh shit. We can get you as far as Denver. And they get you as far as Denver. I'm like, that's fantastic. Okay, so we'll stay a night in Denver. We go back. So we go to the airport there. Show us your ID. We're good. We get in. We fly out to Denver. We get a hotel room. I got to be honest with you. One of the sketchiest hotel rooms I've ever been. And it's a major. We didn't go like, it's not like a mom and pop. This is a major company. I don't know what they did to this place. And Michaela just told me, they would like feedback on that stay, and I'm like, I'm happy to do that. Yeah, give me just a minute. So I'll be doing
the
that.
chainsaw on for you,
dude. The numbers were falling off like we had to find our number. Our number was on the floor. They had just fallen off the wall, and then where they had fallen off previously, they just took the numbers that you buy at like Walmart, or you put on the side of your mailbox, 365.
Yeah.
Those are just on the side of the. I'm like, where are we right now? We show up and there's a guy out front. And this guy goes, and I look and I go, he goes, I didn't get you, and I go, oh, okay. And then some guy drives by and he yells at the guy, and I go, what the hell? Where are we? And he goes, oh, sorry, it's a buddy of mine. And then he's with this girl, and I assume they're just guests because she's wearing like a choker and she's all pierced up and she's wearing like a Motley Crue shirt or something. I think it was Iron Snake was the shirt. And then good reference, right? Nice pull.
Yeah, very good.
And then he goes, she'll be right with you. And I go, okay, I don't know who she is. The girl that's out there with him, they finished a cigarette. She puts it out on the side of the building and she comes in to give us our room key. And I go, this is great. So we had called for a shuttle, and she goes, it only runs at 15 after the hour. And I go, well, that's 45 minutes. We'll just take an Uber. So we Uber down, and she goes, oh, you once called for a shuttle? Yes. And I go, is it every 15 after the hour it leaves here? And she goes, yeah. And I go, okay, so we're going to need one in the morning to get back to the hotel. Not a problem. Next morning, we get up, we go down to the hotel lobby, and I go, I need a shuttle. And the girl, she's still there. She goes, did you request one? And I said, yeah, we talked about it. You were the girl. I just checked in. I only slept for 4 hours. So, yeah, you were the girl I talked to. Oh, okay, let me see what I can do. All right, so we go outside, and this guy comes out. I thought he was kidnapping us. I didn't know. And he goes, yeah, hop in. And I go, okay. And he goes, you need a shuttle? And I go, yeah. So we get in, and we're at this point, we're just trying with backpacks because everything else is already on the plane. So he goes, sorry about that. I'm not the shuttle driver. I'm the maintenance guy. But I don't know where the shuttle driver is. They fired him a while back, and they haven't hired anybody new. And the guy that was supposed to do it decided not to today, and so he's hiding somewhere, and so I'm just going to take you. And I go, awesome. And then he closes the door to the van, and it pops back open. And I go, I don't think that closed. And he goes, it'll be all right, just pull it. And I go, okay. So I'm holding the door all the way to the airport, and I look up. It's not even registered. There's a temporary in the window that's completely expired. And I'm like, you guys are a major chain. Like, they just bought another chain. That's how big this corporation is. And I'm like, what the heck? So, so he gets back to the airport. We go there. I go, here's my ID at TSA. And she goes, ticket? I got to be honest. You're the first. We've been flying all week, and you're the first one to ask for a ticket. And she goes, yeah, we mix it up. It's how TSA works. And I go, what do you mean? And she goes, yeah, we mix it up. She goes, that way you never know what our routine is. And I go, well, I'm going to have a ticket no matter what. So, why? Okay, I'll just, whatever you need. And I'm like, just get me on the, and as I start to realize I'm starting to fight with her, I'm like, no, this is not good because this is going to wind up bad for me. So we get on the plane and we're flying back in Denver. So I'm told 3 of the worst airports in the nation are Colorado Springs, Denver, and Reno.
Reno?
Yeah. Awesome. Oh man, all of this stuff coming in.
Yeah, but going to LAX, I mean, all this stuff coming in, right? I'm gonna let you finish your story, but I'm pretty much sworn off the line.
Okay, well, I'm speaking from a turbulence standpoint. So the plane takes off, and it has something to do with the High Sierra and clearing out. There's a pocket of air, and then the Rockies or whatever. We start to clear, and it gets pretty bad. And we had the prettiest staff of flight attendants. The guys, these guys. I wasn't sure if we were on a Chippendales. I was like, where are we going? Then no, I'm good.
Yeah,
I'm just I can still appreciate it, man. There's no what did my dad used to say? No sugar in my gas, no sugar in my tank. I'm good.
Uh-huh.
But they all had their Pride gear on, and they were all heading somewhere for Pride Week. And I said, this is fantastic. This is the week of Pride was here in Reno. I don't know I don't know if that changes. I think it goes different dates, different places. You could run the Pride circuit, I think. But I thought to myself, not even their God would take this sucker down during Pride Week. I said, we're gonna be fine. We'll be totally fine. And then we landed, and the guy who was supposed to pick us up was a dick, and so then we were whatever. Oh, that was you. No, you picked me up. Sorry, my bad. Yeah, pretty good trip. I'm not ever gonna go back to Universal Studios. No fault to Universal Studios. That's just not my game. I've never seen a Harry Potter. I've never read a Harry Potter book. I didn't watch any of the Fast and Furious.
You were part of Harry Potter.
I hate you.
Weren't you?
No, I hate you. All the stuff that Universal is big for, I don't know anything about it. There was one little shop that had some Back to the Future stuff in it. That was cool. But I liked Back to the Future. But Men in Black.
Years ago.
Yeah, that's when I was a kid. But none of that stuff. I was like, none of this means anything to me. I don't get any of this stuff. So it was tough. I was like, this is not where I want to be. So, and then of course it was 400 degrees. Oh, I will tell you this though. We went to, like, the first night we were there, we went to the what do they call the jousting, where you eat dinner and they joust in the live action theater.
Yeah.
What
a night table or something like that. Medieval times.
Medieval times. There you go.
Yeah.
We went to medieval times, and I'll tell you this. And it was, so JC, so Scooter's girl, God, I love her. She did this on her original Make-A-Wish, right? So this was we're reliving her Make-A-Wish, and so she's like, we're hitting here first, perfect, let's go, great. It was very, very cool. And then went through all the other stuff and did all the other great stuff with her. Some of it was there was one very emotional day, not appropriate for this podcast, but I was a mess, and I tried to get out of it, and she's like, you're going. I'm like, I don't need to. I have a thing that day. It didn't work, and it was very, very emotional. So anyways, and so then on the last night, she said, I want to try this Pirates place for dinner, and I go, okay. And I'm like, it's gonna be very medieval times. I mean, you walk in, you're like, I'm in the same place. This is the same building. I'm sure of it.
Yeah.
And then you walk into the arena, and their gift shop is a little better. You could buy like swords, like you could buy like a real forged, like I could take that sword and go kill somebody right away. But that's not fake. That's real. And then, of course, you can buy the light-up one that the battery lasts exactly long enough to get you home and never works again. That stuff was there. Michaela got a $400 drink in a plastic cup that she got to take home as a souvenir and whatever else. But you walk in, and then it's like this big pool. There's all this water. There's a ship in the water, and there's all the masts and the main sheet and the jib and and they swing it over your head. And I'm like, wow. And then at one point, the guy comes by and he goes, you, come with me. And he takes Scooter and I back to the back, and he's like, here's what's going to happen. You're going to be part of the show. And when we tell you to do this, you run through. I'm like, this is the greatest thing ever. Hi, Gypsy. Gypsy just stuck in. So 10 out of 10. And I'll tell you this. Middle of the Times it was 10 out. Like when we left, I'm like, that was a fantastic time. Then I went to the Pirates one. Medieval Times can suck it. They can suck it. We had such a blast at the Pirates place.
Well, we actually, while you were gone, we had my microwave took a dump and stopped working all of a sudden for no reason. And, of course, my teenage daughter and my 10-year-old daughter referred to our kitchen as medieval times because there was no microwave.
Fair.
Yeah.
My son, and I love him, but the kid, he asked for silverware at medieval times. And I go, you know what the game is, right? Yeah. You understand what's happening? Like, no. Use your hands. They're gonna bring you wet wipes when we're done. Knucklehead. Yep. Yeah. So it was something else, man. And I'll tell you what, man. He's such a good kid. His mom did so well with him.
Yeah.
He bought her a cake. He had a cake maker in Orlando. Orlando make a cake for her. Yeah. I worked with a guy named Orlando, and he got pissed when they called him Orlando. So that's hard for me to say. But he had a cake maker design a cake, beautiful cake. Had it delivered to the house. Like he was a 10 out of 10, man. That kid, he did it. I'm very proud of him. Very proud of him. They're doing well. So
they used to make, you know what they used to make bread in Florida? Orlando.
There's got to be a mute button. There has to be.
How
many times do you think I'm going to say there has to be a mute button on there? I will find one. I don't understand how this goes. And then we had people, and we flew Southwest, by the way. Do you know that there are people that have no idea that Southwest Airlines is first come, first served seating? Like, have you never been on a plane? Like, how do you not know this process? Like, a guy actually walked up to the people in front of me and he goes, I think you're in my seat, A23. And the guy goes, that's your boarding number. And he goes, what? That's your boarding group number. Oh, I think you board according to your seat. No, you don't. Holy shit. And we flew.
A23 is pretty good.
It's not bad. Yeah, it's not bad.
Yeah.
We flew to, I think we had to change planes in Austin or something. And we didn't have to change planes, but the plane stopped in Austin. We waited. And so they're like, and of course we got there, we boarded early because I travel so much. I was at a premiere or whatever. So I just walk on the plane. So we're in the exit row with all the extra legs, which I don't need extra legging, by the way. At 6'2", I'm all torso. I need extra headroom. That legging, you can keep that. I may have a 20-inch inseams, so my inseam's terrible. But the guy comes around, they're cleaning up, and I go, hey, real quick. I go, I'm looking at my ticket. I'm pretty sure we're supposed to be first class. How do we do this? And he looks at where we're at in this exit row, and he goes, you're first class, son. And I go, all right, that's fair, thanks. I'll take that. I'll take that.
Nice.
So yeah, so that was a mess. Travel was terrible. I'm glad to be home, man. As nice as it is to get away, it's so much nicer to get back. Like it's
Sleep
so,
in your own bed.
oh, dude, and we just had, I mean, and it was just so much going on. Like Michaela's mom had to stay at the house because we got this new dog and he's a biter, and so we're trying to figure him out, and with Keely and him aren't getting along. Or Keely, that was a Freudian slip. My old dog, Ollie and him aren't getting along real well, so we're just kind of babysitting those guys. So everyone really helped us out. Of course, you picked us up and took us. So thanks for that, man, because we had a lot going on to get us out there and get us back, man. It was a lot. So you, by the way, so I a little bit on my mind when I was traveling because I had to take a physical for this new job that I took because I need another job. So they sent me to this place, and it's like a 7-Eleven, and the guy in the back goes, "All right, put one hand over your eye and breathe that line." And I go, with my glasses on or off? And he goes, "On's fine." I go, "Okay." So you do that, and then he goes, "Lift that crate with 50 pounds of weight in it 5 times." And he's like, 1, 2, 3. I'm like, okay, good. And then he goes in, and of course, I first walk in, he goes, "All right, I need you to fill this." And I go, "Fill this?" I go, "I didn't know I would be needing to do that." And it's 8 o'clock in the morning. I just came from home. I went before I left. Mom always said, be prepared.
We gotta go. Yeah. Anyone wants to go right now?
Yeah, go before you leave. So I'm like, well, that didn't work. So I'm like, well, I'm going to need a minute. I'm willing to do it. I don't want you to think I'm not willing to do it, but I'm going to need a minute. So he goes, all right, so he gets me a water bottle, and then we go and we do this spectrometer. Have you done a spectrometer where you have to breathe into that thing?
No.
Fuck, just kill me. Just like, I go, this is going to suck. And he goes, what? I go, I have allergy-induced asthma or something. And I go, I was in Florida for a week or so. I go, well, back home, there's so much pollen on my truck.
All day. Yep.
So much pollen, I can't breathe. So I got to do the thing, and you start hacking and coughing. And I go, let me hit my inhaler. So I hit my inhaler, and I could try it again. It didn't get any better, but I'm like, well, I'm going to fail. I'm not getting hired. So, and then he does, I do a hearing test, and he's like, oh, yeah, your hearing's great, man. That's oddly enough for the industry you're in and shooting guns forever. Your hearing's actually really good. And I go, please don't tell Michaela that. Yeah. And so he goes, all right, let's go do one. Oh, then I went and peed, of course. And then he goes, let's go do an EKG. And I go, all right. And I'm like, this is really a lot. Like, this job I took on is not very physical. I just go, yep. So
lane 4.
Yeah, yep. So I go, I don't even do that. They go, where do you want me? Wherever you want. Just have fun. So I go, all right. So the guy lays me down, and he has to bring another guy to help, right? And so I'm standing there, and I don't know what to do. And the guy goes, take your hat and your shirt off. And I go, all right. Take my hat off, and then I pull my shirt off, and I go, you said shirt, right? And he goes, yeah. And I go, just, okay. As I started to get naked, I'm like, this doesn't feel right. And he goes, yeah, shirt off. I go, so he goes, all right, so lay down here. And so I lay down on the table. And then they start putting these sticky things all over me, right? And so, and one's not working, and then another one's not working. They have to replace one, and they got to do another one. I'm like, Jesus. And then they're peeling them off. I'm like, okay, a little bit of, please, come on. A modicum of decor here, right? So they're just ripping shit off me. So he finally gets them on, and the guy goes, all right, and he's teaching the other guys, like, you want to make a C around the heart, make that. And I'm like, oh, boy. When we were done, I could have done it. So he turns the machine on, and the guy goes, hey, dude, are you nervous? And I go, well, I'm half naked in a room full of guys. This isn't my favorite place to be, but
now were the 3 men like on the flight? Like, were compared to the people on the flight? No. How were they like from 1 to 10?
No, very mechanic. They were looked like they were better off. Like the one guy I thought should be busting tires. Yeah. If they were the guys from the plane, I would be like, well, I'd be probably more concerned because they'd be like judging me more, right? Those guys were in the gym a lot. I'd be like, I don't know. These guys, I was like, I'm in a better shape than these guys. It's gonna be fine. so the guy tells me, he goes, are you nervous? And I go, I'm not. This isn't my favorite thing to do. And he goes, I need you to calm down. Like right now, calm down. I go, what are you talking about? And he goes, your heart rate's at 187. You're resting.
Holy mackerel!
Yeah, and I go, what? 187? He goes, yeah, 187. I go, I don't think you're right. And he goes, bro, you're seriously, you're about to have a heart. Like, you got to stop. You got to in through your nose, out through your mouth. Like, I know how to breathe. Like, stop doing this. You're freaking me out, man.
Was it on Celsius?
That's right. I don't know. He goes, oh, there it is. And I go, you son of a bitch. I go, what? And he goes, yeah, you're good. And I go, well, it's going to be high now. I'm definitely worked up now. So if you didn't think it was high before, it's going to be high now. So they put me on the thing, and then they don't tell you shit. They don't. I mean, they didn't call an ambulance, so I'm like, well, I guess we're really okay. But they don't tell you anything about it. They just go, okay, we'll get the doctor. And I'm like, oh, that doesn't make me feel good at all. So the doctor comes in, he looks at it, and he goes, and I'm watching him. He's like, he's looking at pulling his glasses, and he checks his notes, and then he rolls that up and sticks it under the file, and I go, okay, heart's good, I guess. And then he goes on to what's with the breathing? I go, I have asthma. Because everything is. I didn't until I had to wear a mask for 2 years. Now I'm allergic to water.
Right.
That's fair. He's like, you should try this pill here. And I'm texting Michaela. I go, hey, I should try this pill. And she goes, you took one this morning. I'm like, nah, I'm about to let it go. So I didn't say anything. And so he goes, okay, thanks. See you later. And he just walks out. And I go, okay. So I'm sitting there. I'm sitting there 20 minutes
They forget
later.
about you?
20 minutes later, the girl comes in. She goes, I think you're done. And I go, I think someone should have said that. I feel like I was done a while ago, and nobody said a word to me about it. I've been sitting here this whole goddamn time. So I'm like, whatever. So I leave. I don't know. I got the job. So I guess I'm not in dire straits. So I can live with that.
When I dislocated this pinky right here, it's all tweaked, right? They had the same thing. They had a doctor come into the room, and then they had a nurse practitioner come in, and they were training. And the doctor was like, okay, I can pop it back into place for you. Or if you'd like, I can have this nurse practitioner do it. He's kind of learning as he goes, and I'm here to monitor him, so you're totally safe. What do you want to do? And I'm like, I want the nurse practitioner to do it. And she's like, really? Why? And I said, because he's learning, he's going to take more time. You've done it a million times, right? And she's like, oh, yeah, I do it every day, all day. I'm like, yeah, so you don't really care what you do to my finger. This guy's learning. He's going to do it the best. So it's still not right.
I was going to say you might have the doctor. You probably should have gone to the doctor. How did you do that? How did you do that? That's probably a great story.
It's a horrible story. I was making a donation at Savers. It was 8 degrees outside. I was painting signs, of course, and I wanted to get rid of the clutter in my house and make a donation before Christmas. And I donated some stuff, gave it to them, and my finger got caught on a shirt or something. I went to pull it away. It twisted the wrong way, and basically this finger was this way.
Is it hard to play the guitar with that like that?
No.
No, really?
No, it's just hard to play guitar.
You tell people you're the Reno Ted Nugent. I don't think you can then follow up with it's hard to play guitar.
Yeah, he's the Motor City Madman. I'm the Reno City Rebel.
Okay, fair enough. I'll take that.
Yeah.
I'll take that. Good.
I'm not quite as crazy at Nugent yet, so I'm getting there. Trust me, the more I hang out with people and the more I see. You ever sit on a boat ramp and watch people launch their boats?
Yeah.
Right? If you ever want to lose faith in your common man, go sit on a boat ramp during a weekend and watch these idiots launch their boats. Okay? It's bad. But even worse is go camping in your trailer and then go to the dump station and watch these morons dump their trailer after a long weekend. You've got the type of people that put on the rubber gloves, right? So that they're sterile now. And they're making their RV dump, and they're there for 40 minutes, and I can't figure out why. You pull 2 plugs, it all comes out, you rinse it off, you go home, right? So same thing. Boat ramps and RV dumps, you will definitely lose your faith in humanity pretty quickly.
Do you remember when we launched a boat one time, you and I? Do you know I almost lost my hand? Do you remember that?
Where'd you put it?
In a rope, and you backed out, and the rope got stuck on something. When I think about that, I get my hair stands up back of my neck. It's a boat launching.
Not on the top of your head?
No, there's none on the top of my head. It's a boat launching nightmare that I have. I just want you to know that.
Well, you, my friend, and I love you. I don't want to tell you, thou shalt not tread on me. You probably have no business at a lake ever, because all of your trauma at lakes. I would
True.
I'm out. I'm going to go to a pond or wherever else, but not lakes for you.
Yeah, I was killed in a lake one time. That's a true story.
You almost died?
I did die. Yeah, I did.
You did?
Die.
On the
I
inside?
did die. I did. No, I was dead. There was some reviving going on. Yeah, I got to make out with a dude. I wasn't happy about it.
Now, on average, this guy that you made out with when you died on the boat ramp, compared to the flight attendants, right? and then compared to the people that took your shirt off, where was
Yeah.
he in prettiness level?
Much older, very,
Yeah.
very. Yeah, boy, I don't want. He was my future father-in-law at the time, but he now former father-in-law. Very wispy hair, and very just. He was yeah. I think he liked it more than I did, if I'm being honest.
So what happened? You were out on a lake because
Have you
people
never
don't
heard
know.
this?
So
You never heard this story?
no, I've heard all your
yeah,
stories.
we were no, you haven't. I got a couple.
You still have-
We were both. So I was dating this girl. That's a whole other nightmare. And
Kate?
she said, "Hey, what's that?"
Was it Kate?
You did not. You did not.
I don't know. I'm
Stop
just trying
it.
to get some clarity.
Stop it. I'm going to see if this mute button works. I think I have one here. Let's see this. Where's Trey? Trey. There, try something. Yes, I got it. Okay. All right, I think you're back. No, it was not her. So she said, hey, my dad's giving me Lake Mojave. We should go down. He wants us to come and you can meet him. And I go, okay. And so we go down to Lake Mojave. And so we're rolling late at night, like 11 o'clock, 10 o'clock at night. We're in line at the check-in at the hotel. And she's like, oh, there's my dad right there. So we, hey, how you doing? Nice to meet you. And then we're like, we're going to bed. So I was 27, I think. And so we go to bed and get up in the morning. We got to get up early. We got to go meet them at the boat, at the parking lot. And they're from L.A., so we met in Vegas, Laughlin. Head out to the lake. We go out to a place called Captain's Landing, launch the boat. We head out to this, I don't know where they went to this cove. They knew where. He had a buddy, that kind of a quasi-friend of his, that was going to meet us there. And we went out to this place together. And we get into the cove, and the buddy fires up the boat and takes off, and he's gone. And so we're on the shore, and we set up like chairs. And anybody want to go? Well, skiing, let's go. Yeah, so her brother says, I'm ready. So he gets me on the boat, hit it, and he skis around out under the Mojave and back into the cove. And she goes, yeah, I'm ready. And so all right, cool. So she gets in the water, and she gets her skis on, and I'm on the front. It's an open bow boat. And so I'm on the front with my arms up, watching the boat captain, right, her dad. I think her brother was the flag guy, and then she was going to ski. And from where I was sitting, I could see everything. And she yells, hit it! And then I woke up on a helicopter landing pad. Like that was it. Apparently what had happened was when she said hit it, he went to pull out of the cove, and the friend came into the cove, and the two boats hit head on, and then slammed together side by side, put both captains up against each other. And the boat actually came into our boat, ejected me. I have a burn on my back, like shoulder blade to shoulder blade, from the trim on the boat where he ejected me out into the water. And her dad jumped in and pulled me out, revived me, got me on the back of the boat, and the boat wouldn't start. Finally got the boat started, got me to shore. I was blind, walking around, tripping over, like just blah, blah, blah. They get me to Catherine's Landing, and this is when Clinton was president. And so the medics are like, hey, real quick, what's your name? How old are you? Who's the president of the United States? And I go, Clinton. I go, Hillary. I go, Bill was elected, but Hillary. The guy's like, you got to stop. You can't, we don't know if you're dying or not. You got to stop that shit. I'm like, all right. So they bring in a helicopter. By the way, Hilton, not the place we stayed in Colorado, by the way, were so good to me. She was nice too. I got a story. I fished with her grandfather one time. We'll tell that story someday. They sent a van out, a shuttle driver out, and he picked us up, and then he took us to get the prescription filled, got us dinner, and then took us back to Laughlin. And when we got back, they had picked up our room and moved us closer to the elevator and the ice machine so I could get back, because I had broken a bunch of, dude, get this. I don't know if this is appropriate for a podcast, but the doctor comes in, and when I get injured, I think I'm funny, and so I'm trying to be cute. And so he goes, hi, I'm Dr. Jeffrey Proudfoot. I'll be your attending physician. I go, wow, Proudfoot, that's quite a name. I go, what are you, Irish? And I thought that was funny. And he goes, I'm a Native American. And I go, me too. I'm from Reno. And he goes, treat him for his burns and release him. And I'm like, oh, that's it? Sent me home I had a fractured arm he didn't diagnose. I had broken ribs. I'm like, yeah, that didn't play out like I thought it was going to. And then, fast forward, we had to wind up suing her dad's insurance company. Oh, it was such a cluster. Just a cluster.
Were you wearing a life jacket?
No. And here, you know what's funny? I saw like a Nevada Department of Wildlife plug, like later on the air. Only 2 people survived boating accidents this year that weren't wearing life jackets. And I'm like, oh, I'm a statistic. I'm one of 2. It's pretty good odds. That's pretty good odds. Yeah. So I don't do that anymore. So anyways, so we talked about this podcast, right? For those of you just joining us, it's just kind of a time for Trey and I to talk nonsense about people we don't like. Stephanie mentioned her a little bit.
Yeah, we hate her.
Yeah, boy, do we. I'm telling you what. She just got her surgery, by the way. Have you heard? She's doing good.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
She's doing good. So Godspeed, Stephanie. Poor Chuck. Just go hide somewhere, Chuck. So listen, it's sponsored by Nevada Farms Academy and Range. Obviously, we're a gun store. We're an indoor range. We're a training academy. We do a ton of training. One of the big things we talk about on this particular platform is some gun stuff, and some really interesting stuff has kind of happened in the last, kind of week and a half, 2 weeks. We found as gun deals, just weird things that we think sometimes we should talk about that are important. Trey had a buddy of his. He went by his house. Saw him open carrying. How'd that go, Trey?
Oh, that was great. Apparently, there's some bad information out there, and we're always telling our students and the people that come and visit the range, always watch where you get your information, because it's not always good information. There's internet information, and then there's actual information. So I was open carrying, as I do when I work here at NFA, and he's like, "Hey, man, you have a CCW. You can't open carry." What? What do you mean I can't open carry? He's like, "No, if you have, I was taught that if you have a CCW, you can't open carry." So
didn't he say my instructor said that? And I was
Yeah,
his instructor.
he said my last instructor told me that, and his last instructor, of course, was Scotty, and so we called him up and put him on the carpet.
He did quickly say, I meant to say my original instructor said that. Yeah. So if you have a concealed weapons permit in the state of Nevada, you can carry open. You can carry concealed. It's your choice, your preference. It'd be like saying, "Well, Trey, now that you have a driver's license, I don't want to see you on that bicycle anymore."
Right.
Still allowed to ride a bicycle. A lot of that going on out there. We had and here's a. Oh, go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, and you can't ship firearms in the mail either.
Yeah, that's what he said too. As we watched the mailman come in and get 4 firearms from us to be shipped to somebody.
Right.
Yeah, that was a good. Well, wrong. Yeah, doesn't apply. Something interesting just happened, and I don't want to get into it because the instructor doesn't like me, and I'm fine with that. It goes way back, many 20 years ago probably. But he had a student just recently. The lady was in your class today, right? How'd she do, by the way? The lady that came in today. Do you remember? You know what I'm talking about?
Here's the great thing, and Scott, you're a great instructor, and I think that the philosophy around here with Tyson, myself, you, Michaela, everyone that works here, the thing that really drew me to this place and to you as a friend and as a instructor is there's that attitude, that machismo, that disgusting, I know everything, I know better than you, listen to what I say, my word is everything, and you know nothing. This lady came in after spending 2 days ago, spending a few hours with another instructor. She couldn't get on target. She was having problems. It's nerve-wracking if you're not used to it. And he was basically just demeaning her, saying, "You know what? You shouldn't carry a gun. You shouldn't do this," and just making her just feel like she was this big. She took our class today, your curriculum, and I went to lunch. We broke for lunch, and she waited for me to get back after she qualled, and she was holding her sign up like
That's so
just
awesome.
completely ecstatic that not only was she on target, but she had a good time getting there.
That's cool. I know Michaela met with her originally, and she said, "I got to take this class. I'm going through this guy," and I was kind of like, "Why didn't she go through us?" Well, she already paid for it. I'm like, "All right, whatever." And so Michaela let me spend some time working with you. Worked with her and essentially shot the qual with her. Like, okay, so what you do? Let's try this from this distance. Let's try this, and they're done. She's like, "Congratulations, that is what this guy's going to have you shoot when you go to his class." And we're very like I don't. If you want to go to somebody else, I don't care. Your loss, not mine. But very much, you're good. You've already shot the qual. Don't panic. Relax. And she was older lady, right? Mm-hmm. I haven't met her. Okay.
67 years old.
What was it?
67.
Nice. Yeah. So yeah. Michaela had said, you already shot the qual. Like, whatever anxiety or angst you have about this, you're going to be fine. And if you just listen to the class, I'm sure they're going to tell you everything you need to know to pass the written. So don't worry about that. That's going to be easy. And we know that you shot the qual right now, so nothing matters. So just relax, just breathe. And then I guess she called Michaela and was like, "He failed me." I'm like, what in the hell? So one of the things on the forum Like when we do a CCW, one of the things it talks about is the instructor showed me this, and there's like these 9 or 10 I don't know how many boxes there are, but you check them off. Showed me concealed carry, showed me, talked about principles of the gun, talked about safety, talked about holster work, talked about drawing, taught me how to shoot the gun, taught me how to hold it, taught me the disciplines. If you fail somebody as an instructor, that's on you. Like you failed you didn't teach him. I feel like, and I also feel like, because he failed her and then kept her money. I feel like first off, I've never failed anybody. I've been doing this a long time. I've never failed anybody. I've had some people we had to stay late with a couple times to make sure they got their shots on target, but I've never failed anybody. And I feel like if you're failing somebody, give their money back then. Give them back their money because you didn't teach them.
I mean, you're right. And Tyson said the same thing. Like, she did not fail the course. He failed to teach her. And like you said, it takes that little bit extra just to get them where they need to be. They're doing something wrong, or they're not thinking right. You know, they've been taught wrong, breaking old habits, right? Really tough to do. Somebody that's, got a grip problem. You play golf, right?
Yeah.
If your grip ain't right, then your swing ain't right. And it's really hard. Oh, I've been doing this this is how I grip. Well, that's not a good grip. You should grip it like this. That's a tough habit to break. But once you break it, it takes 21 times to break, or 21 times to create a new habit?
108 times to break a bad habit.
Right.
Which is why we
so
shoot 200
21
times.
Times to create, 21 times to create a new habit, 108 times to break a bad habit. There you go. And I just, it's like guitar players when you're playing live somewhere, and you can always spot a guitar player because they're like this.
Yeah.
How many guitar players does it take to change a light bulb? 1 to change a light bulb, 100 to stand around and go, I can do that better.
Yeah, true.
And I feel like in this industry, there's a lot of those instructors out there that are like the guitar players. Like, I know everything, you know nothing. Listen to my word. My word is Bible. Forget everything you've ever been taught. Just listen to me.
Yeah. Yeah, and that triggers me. If we're going to be honest, about being triggered. That triggers. That's a good bullet point, because it's just garbage, and it's out there and it's everywhere. I was in a gun store not too long ago, and a lady walks in. I'm talking to the guy behind the counter, and the lady walks in, and the guy goes, "What are you looking for?" And she says, "I don't really know." And he goes, "Come back when you do." And I'm like, "Holy shit! You can say it to people?" Like, I catch somebody in my buildings. Yeah, I catch somebody in my building saying that. We're gonna have a conversation. Like, that is not our. In fact, we only bought this because I made Michaela promise me she'd put ladies in guns that they could shoot. Like, we'll buy back a bunch of those double single weapons that these ladies had no business being in, and put them in guns that they can handle, because the value is there for the community.
Amen.
And the mindset. Yep. So, and there's just so much craziness right now with all this garbage going on everywhere. It's driving me crazy.
Well, and anytime, like playing guitar, the reason I started playing guitar because it was fun. I enjoyed it. It was something to do that I enjoyed. Shooting guns, I didn't buy a gun just to defend myself. Like, I'm gonna defend myself, and I'm gonna go out and conceal carry and do all that stuff. I enjoyed the act of shooting. It's powerful, and it's fun. So that's why you do it. So why would you take something that people enjoy and really try and make it uncomfortable for them to enjoy it anymore? Like, this poor lady was being yelled at by her instructor. You have no business carrying a gun. Wow. Right. That's not fun for anyone.
That's a tough message, man. That's a real tough. Yeah, that's tough. And for me, so when you're good at something, as you get better, it becomes more fun to do, right? Like, I don't go shoot I don't shoot my friends if I'm terrible. I can't hit the damn tree. I don't want to be shooting with these guys. So as you get better, it becomes more fun, and it's more enjoyable, and you have more fun doing it. But for me as an instructor, like, I'm willing to do, like, we didn't want to do these 8-hour classroom classes. We wanted to teach people to shoot. But there's a market for this. People aren't interested in learning, and I'm cool with that. I guess on some level, but I feel like it needs to be out there, and I'm more interested in working on, like, the kinesthetic energy and the stuff that, like, how your body, like, my body knows. If I raise my hands up, my body knows where my fingers are. I don't have to look to tell where they are. That's kinesthetic development. My body's able to understand that. The science behind knowing what's happening with my body, because I've built that muscle memory, those principles, right? A lot of what Dr. Walter Cannon had to say, a lot of his philosophies, a lot of teaching people to shoot open loop, closed loop, right? What your brain does when you're, when you're when you're not thinking about it, right? When it is natural, like Shaquille O'Neal,
Mm-hmm.
right? He's a good basketball player. He's getting one of the greats. But ask him to do a free throw, can't do it because he has to stop and he thinks about it. He dribbles twice for mama and he pulls on his pants leg and he claps his hand and blows in his mouth, pulls his earlobe, and then he shoots the thing and hits the backstop and hit the backboard and drops off. That's closed loop, right? So the science behind it for me is the win, and that's what I enjoy teaching. And so it took me a while to get with these people that didn't necessarily care about that aspect of it. So we'll talk more about that as we talk more training down the road. But there's a ton of stuff out there, and there's a ton of stuff happening in the communities as we see it, and we'll see.
Well, here's a really good example because this is really fresh in my mind. We just got new countertops at the house. Thank you, Tim. Awesome. Our landlord's awesome. And we got this cool new, and you have one at your house, one of those big hoses that's real tall, right? Well, for the last 5 years, I go to fill up my water bottle, and it's straight back for warm, right? Or straight back to the right for cold, and then straight back to the left for hot. So I've been doing that for 5 years, so I'm used to it. Boom, boom, boom. Well, we got this new faucet, and now it's completely different. It's all the way left and up for cold. It's down, to 3 o'clock for medium heat, and then bottom over is hot. And sometimes I'm sitting there toying with it for 5 minutes just because my mind is saying cold water is here, but it's not anymore.
Where'd all my ice go?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's the whole muscle memory thing.
I went from driving a Datsun to driving a Scirocco, and the reverse was over and up, and I'm like, I can't do this. So I get it. Back then, a lot of people trying to get into first gear. Whoops.
But that whole muscle memory, I say that in my class now. Like, muscle memory is, like you said, just going to turn on your light in the bathroom at 3 o'clock in the morning. It's there every time. And now I'm struggling with my water faucet because it's different. But my mind is still, nope, here it is. It's been like this for 5 years, and now it's not that way.
Yeah.
So really big eye-opener for muscle memory.
It's going to be, well, dude, I'm living in the house I was born in, essentially. So, like, for me, I go to the cupboard looking for cups, and I'm like, the cups are not here. Those are plates. Because they're not where they were when I was a kid growing up, right? So I feel it too, man. I'm reading a really good book right now called Deadly Force Encounters. And there's a lot of police stuff in it, but there's a lot of really interesting stories about shootings and such. And like one shooting where the guy talks about in the shooting how he can't figure out why someone's throwing beer cans at him, and why in the middle of a gunfight, and why the beer cans say federal. He's legitimately watching his brass eject from the weapon and reading the base of it as it does it, because his brain has slowed it down so much, right? That whole how your brain works in a gunfight situation. One guy talks about how he gets an open door call on an Elks Lodge in Buffalo, and he responds to the call, and he goes in, and I got an open door, I'm going to go in and check. Goes in, gets in a gunfight, calls for backup, races out the door. As he gets outside the door, the 2-man unit pulls up and goes, "What's going on?" He goes, "Don't go in there. It's a real small room and it's on fire." And one of the guys goes, "I'm an elk. That's our banquet hall. That's the biggest room we have." And he goes, "Well, I don't know what you're talking about." And he goes, "Well, yeah." He opens the door. It's not on fire. Turns out that guy's two biggest fears: confined spaces and burning to death. So his brain goes, "It's on fire. Get out." So the things your brain does in those situations, on top of what you already thought. So when you see somebody who, like, I talked to a guy today. What kind of gun should I get? I don't know, something with a thumb brake safety. Why? Because you carry a carbine. You were in the Army. You were in the military. You carried a carbine. You were a tech guy. You dropped that thumb brake safety and put that weapon into battery and put rounds down range. If you don't work that thumb brake, you won't be able to manipulate the gun. If you're going to carry a Glock on your hip, which is a great gun, Glock Tactical Temporary, great gun, but you're going to switch to a carbine then, or you're going to carry a carbine while you have a Glock, you're not going to be able to manipulate that safety, and it's just as simple as that. So,
yeah, I can't. I've never had a thumb safety on any of my revolvers, so it's completely foreign to me. You say thumb brake, I'm like, what? What?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
And you're exactly the opposite.
Yeah, I'm a 1911 guy, so I've always been a thumb brake safety guy. I've always liked that safety. I've always locked and cocked, right, hammer back and the thumb brake safety up. It's been a platform that I've grown to love. I also like the fact that, when I put my weapon in my holster, if I catch my shirt, if I catch a corner of the holster, if I catch it, right, it's not going off. So in my mind's eye, that's just an extra piece for me. And I hate to say forced, but I've made Michaela carry guns with thumb brake safeties because I want to know that if I'm not home and she has to grab my carbine or she has to grab one of my pistols, the first action is going to be to drop that safety and engage that target. And we're seeing a lot of I was freaked out. Oh, go ahead. Were you saying?
No.
I think you're going to say something. I was freaked out, so I was watching On Patrol Live. Was like must see TV for me, and we were watching it a couple weeks ago. And a girl back east, dude, she calls the high patrol. She's like, "Yeah, there's a baby on the side of the road. This guy needs help." I don't know. I can't remember if the baby was by itself or there was a guy there with it or something. But they had like video, kind of real distant video of like her taillights stopping to like render aid to this kid, and then she just disappeared, gone into the wind. Nobody had seen her. Like, holy smokes! On Patrol Live ran a like wanted missing segment on it. Then she made the national news, and they were like, "Where did this woman go?" And then she's like, I think like a week later, she bounced up somewhere. Like, just kidding. That was.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Have you seen that? Yeah, she's facing all sorts of crazy criminal charges now.
Good.
When that stuff happened, I'm like, holy smokes! Like, don't stop to help. I looked at Michaela and I go, don't ever do that. Like, don't ever do that. Like, just go to the next intersection and call the police and have them. That was the whole. The theory was, but I don't know if it's true or not. But the theory was that the Zodiac killer was pulling up next to women in the Bay Area, and he'd be like, "Hey, you got a tire that's doing that what?" And they'd pull over. He'd pull over and he could, "Do you have a tire iron? Let me see if I can fix it." And he would loosen it, and then "Okay, I think you're good." And she'd drive off, and she'd be like, "Oh no, it's terrible." And he'd pull over again. Well, she now knows he's not going to kill her because she already had an interaction with him once, and he got back in his car and left her alone. So why not just get in the car with him and be safe? And so, boom, 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 boom. My brother, we just talked about this. I saw my brother at a baseball game here in town last week, and I've been telling people this story forever. But my brother found a girl that was one of Ted Bundy's victims here in Reno, Sparks. Yeah, he saw her. I go, "Hey, tell Michaela the story," and he goes, "Yeah, it was a Thursday, and my brother wears his heart on his sleeve. My brother's he's not like me. He's a good dude, and he's been carrying this with him for a long time. And there was something to the story where we should go check out that car, and they didn't. They got busy at work or whatever, and it wasn't until like the next day or after the weekend, and they went out and checked the car, and there was a body in the trunk. And my brother, I think, always kind of felt like, man, could we have saved her if we'd have checked when we first saw the car? And couldn't have. I think that was not going to happen. And then Bundy, right before they put him to death, he had part of his like clearing his conscience, right? He had kind of confessed to leaving bodies all over the place, and one was coming through the Reno Sparks area and leaving a girl behind a warehouse in a trunk of her car. I'm like, wow, man, that's crazy stuff.
Yikes.
Yeah. So you got to get trained. And you don't go somewhere they're going to fail you. I mean, for those of you in Reno, if you go somewhere and they fail you, come see me. We'll fix you. We won't charge you for it.
Well, and I think that just by going into different establishments, you're going to notice the attitude that we have here way quicker, and we might not be for everyone. Some people like that militant, machismo, what are you carrying a 384? You should be carrying a 45, the whole bit. I don't get that vibe here. I've never gotten that vibe here. But I think that if you come in to Nevada Firearms Academy and Range, you'll notice the attitude is way different. We are not that dude.
Not at all, man. I learned a long time ago that it just doesn't matter. Your preferences are preferences, right? And if you grew up with a 380 because that's your favorite gun, perfect. Let me teach you how to put shots on target, because if that's a gun you want to carry, you're going to have to stop the threat, right? So there's more important things than the caliber you carry. Now, if you're going to go deal with grizzlies, then yes, you need to be talking about caliber, as well as shots on target. But that's not the platform. Yeah, that's not the platform. That's where it is. Oh, hey, real quick, I meant to ask you. Your wife is lovely, beautiful.
No, I'm cool.
What?
Nothing.
What? She says, "Hey, me and two of my girlfriends are going to Austin for the weekend to party for my birthday. Good or bad? You okay with that?"
Yeah.
Without you?
Why? Without me, yeah.
I don't know.
I know her. I know her.
What if you don't?
If I don't know my girlfriends, yeah, I would. I'd probably be a little more reserved about that.
Have you been to
but
Austin?
I know the girlfriend. Yeah.
Have you been to Austin? You been down to the Dirty Six in Austin? Okay.
No.
All right. Oh no, you haven't been down to the Dirty Six?
No, I've never been to Austin. But it's all snowflake.
Okay, you hold on. Okay, let's get the calendar out. Yeah, let's get the calendar out. I'm taking you down to the Dirty Six in Austin.
Okay. I don't know anything about it.
I'll try to find a picture. My picture. I think I'm new to this whole platform, but I think I can make a cover photo for this podcast if I can. It'll be a picture of my son in the bathtub holding a garbage can in his lap so he could throw up in the middle of the night while he slept in the bathtub.
Nice.
Austin will kill you. Austin will make you wish you hadn't drank. Yeah, not a
play. There's a little baddie down there.
What's that?
It's a little baddie down there.
There's a cool bridge. You know what? Is that what you're talking about? The bridge?
No.
Yeah, there's a bridge that at sundown, like I don't know how many I would say millions, but someone will probably correct me and go, it's 400,000, stupid. But it's like 35 minutes of bats just, and you're like, what? And it's into the sunset, so you're like, it actually darkens. Yeah, you're like, what is happening? Yeah, pretty spectacular. Brittany went down there for her birthday. Yeah, and I was so mad. Yeah, I was so mad because we had a layover in Austin, and I thought we should have just stayed. Party with Brittany.
I would be afraid if I was Brittany that a bat would pick me up and take me away, like in Wizard of Oz. You know,
a bat could definitely take Brittany away.
That's got to be this big, right? So that's what I would be more concerned about a bat with Brittany than I would be with my wife going down to Austin for whatever reason. Yeah,
that's fair. Yeah, and Brittany's a good girl, so I think it's fine. But she didn't have to. It wasn't also halfway across the country. Okay, I hear she's a good girl. I don't know. She also didn't have to go far. She just came down from Fort Worth, so not that big of a travel. It would be cross country for your wife, so that could see the concern.
Oh, I've got $10,000 in my pocket right now.
You do?
Oh, I thought we were just telling stuff that wasn't true.
Okay. Damn it, Valentine.
What are you gonna call it?
You win.
Okay.
Yeah, you win. All right, we should definitely have Brittany on. I was lucky enough. I was unfortunate enough to be our Snapchat friend and watch her party while she was down there. Great time it looked like. I definitely want to go party in Austin with Brittany. I made it pretty clear. Next time you're ready, let's go. We'll go to Austin with you. They have a big motorcycle rally and concert. We should go down for that. I think we missed it this year, but
I think we did.
Yeah, but I think we should plan that. And now that we're doing this podcast, and by the way, so we're going to mix it up a little bit. We were using a buddy of ours, producing the podcast for us, and in doing so, he had to start it for us. And so we've kind of launched on our own where we can start it. I'm hoping to be able to get this to him so he can produce it. If not, we'll produce it ourselves. We don't want to kick him out. He's been a great friend of ours, and he's really working towards doing some social media aspects for us. So Trey and I are just stepping into this. If we get to our first one published, you'll see that apparently my audio sucked, so that's why this guy's here now. And so we're going to try to get better. I think we do, man. I think we're getting better. I think that we're moving along quite well. So swimmingly, if you will. So
if it was easy, everyone would do it. Oh wait,
everyone does.
Everybody is.
Yeah. No, they wouldn't do it well though. I hope we're doing it well. I hope we do well. I hope it gets better. I can't wait. Who do you think the first friend is going to be that we alienate? Who do you think we're going to?
I would think that would probably be Brittany.
Oh, really? Just by that today or by something else?
Or Stephanie, you know.
Oh, yeah. Well, you're just talking about today. That doesn't count. Those two people aren't going to be alienated by this. I could tell you stories about Stephanie. Holy smokes, man. Boy. Yeah. We stayed with them last year while we were down in Texas. And, boy, she had a night. Let me tell you. She had a night. Yeah. Good girl. Very reserved, but boy, she had a night. She got caught off guard by something. Okay, I'm done with you. Trey Valentine, I love you. Thank you for doing this podcast with me. We're gonna. I think we're at a good stopping point. Thank you so much for this. I think the win too with us doing it this way. Now I can just pop off into Florida and I can do the podcast with you remotely. And we can talk about things. We missed a lot of stuff that happened, kind of current events that I think would have been better for us to have published right away. And so that's part of the hang up by having not having the ability to get into it. And we can get into it. Poor Jesse's our producer is in the middle of the Nevada desert right now traveling. He can't even get on to help us. So that's why we kind of branch out.
If you do it in Florida, maybe you can have maybe a gator on as a guest.
Okay, mute Trey. Where is that again? Why'd your thing? Oh, there it is, right there. Okay, Trey's muted. Thank you, everyone, for joining us on the podcast. I thank you very much. We're new to this. We're working very hard at it. We're going to try to get better, and just give us some time and hit us up, man. Let us know some thoughts and some ideas. We got some guests lined up, some pretty cool stuff. We've got some folks that want to share some thoughts with us and some ideals, and that's going to be fun for us. So I look forward to it. Trey, do you have anything you want to add? This is perfect. I love you guys. Trey, I love you. We'll talk to you later. Peace out, everybody. Hey, press on. Keep on mind. Press on.